Ladies and gentlemen, in the bustling market of Egypt, a remarkable event unfolded, one that echoes through the halls of history and the hearts of believers. A noble youth, radiant in character and form, was brought forth as a slave. Yet, this was no ordinary soul, sold for a few silver coins, undervalued by men, but known in the heavens that he was a chosen servant of Allah. The women of Egypt, astonished by his beauty, cut their hands in awe. But his true beauty lay in his unwavering faith. Tested by trials, temptation, and prison, he rose with patience, emerging not just as a free man but a ruler, honored and beloved. True worth is not defined by worldly status, but by faith, patience, and trust in Allah. Just as Prophet Yusuf was elevated from a slave to a ruler through his steadfastness. This principle is deeply embedded in the story of Prophet Yusuf, peace be upon him, a story that transcends time and geography, echoing in the hearts of all those who reflect on the trials and triumphs of sincere believers. His journey from the depths of the well to the heights of power is a living lesson in how divine wisdom often unfolds through paths of hardship, requiring complete reliance on Allah and unwavering patience. When Prophet Yusuf was a young boy, he saw a dream, a vision so powerful that it foretold his future greatness. He saw 11 stars, the sun, and the moon prostrating to him. Innocently, he shared this dream with his beloved father, Prophet Yusuf, peace be upon him, who immediately recognized it as a sign of his son's destined greatness. Yet, he also knew that such a gift would ignite jealousy among his other sons. His advice was filled with fatherly concern: do not relate your vision to your brothers, or they will contrive a plan against you. Indeed, Satan is an avowed enemy to mankind. This was the beginning of a long and difficult journey for Yusuf. His brothers, driven by jealousy and blinded by envy, plotted against him. They lured him into the wilderness and cast him into a dark well. Imagine the fear, the loneliness, and the confusion of a young boy abandoned by his own blood, left in the depths of the earth. Yet even in that moment, Allah was with him. The world may have turned its back, but the Creator never left his side. He was rescued, only to be sold in the market of Egypt for a low price, as if he was worth little. But what people fail to see, Allah knows best. The market of Egypt was filled with voices of buyers, sellers, and the clatter of trade. Among all that noise, a transaction took place that seemed ordinary to those who witnessed it. A beautiful boy was sold as a slave. But this was not just any boy. This was a prophet in the making. The people saw a servant, Allah saw a leader. They saw someone powerless. Allah had destined him for authority. This contrast between how the world perceives a person and how Allah values them is central to Yusuf's story. It reminds us that external circumstances never define our true worth. The man who bought Yusuf was a nobleman, the Aziz of Egypt. He took him into his household and told his wife to treat him well, for he sensed some good in the boy. Indeed, Yusuf grew up with wisdom, beauty, and grace. Allah granted him knowledge and understanding, and his character reflected nobility that no title could grant. However, another trial awaited him. The wife of the Aziz, tempted by his beauty, tried to seduce him. Alone in the palace, behind closed doors, he was offered what many would consider a worldly opportunity. But Yusuf feared Allah. He resisted, saying, I seek refuge in Allah. His rejection of sin was not just an act of personal discipline, it was a sign of deep faith and loyalty to his Creator. That choice came with a heavy price. He was falsely accused and thrown into prison, a place where many would feel forgotten and hopeless. But once again, Yusuf's value did not decrease in the eyes of Allah. While the world saw a prisoner, Allah saw a teacher, a guide, and a leader. In prison, he continued to show wisdom, interpreting dreams with clarity and compassion. His sincerity, kindness, and unwavering trust in Allah touched the hearts of even the inmates. And when the king of Egypt had a troubling dream, it was Yusuf who was remembered. He was called upon to interpret it, and with Allah's help, he did so with precision and insight. The king saw in Yusuf not just intelligence, but trustworthiness. He recognized that Yusuf was not driven by ego or desire for power. He was offered a position of authority, and Yusuf accepted it not for personal gain, but to serve with justice and integrity. He became a treasurer, managing the resources of Egypt with wisdom during years of abundance and famine. He was now in a position of immense power, but he remained humble. The same Yusuf who had been thrown into a well, sold in a market, and imprisoned without guilt was now honored and respected. Yet he never let power blind him. He knew it was all from Allah. This transformation from a powerless slave to a powerful ruler did not come through shortcuts or worldly connections. It came through patience in the face of injustice, faith in the darkest hours, and trust in Allah when there seemed to be no way out. Every step of Yusuf's journey was a test, a refining of his soul, and in each test, he turned to Allah. When he was betrayed by his brothers, he turned to Allah. When he was falsely accused, he turned to Allah. When he was forgotten in prison, he turned to Allah. And when he was finally honored, he still turned to Allah in gratitude. His story is a mirror for all those who feel undervalued, oppressed, or forgotten. In a world that often measures people by their wealth, status, or appearance, the story of Yusuf reminds us that true value lies within the soul. A person who holds tightly to their faith, who remains patient through trials, and who puts their trust in Allah is never truly low, no matter how the world sees them. Just as Yusuf was raised from the depths of a well to the throne of Egypt, so too can a believer be raised in rank by Allah through sincerity and steadfastness. The market of Egypt, where Yusuf was sold for a trivial price, serves as a powerful symbol. It is a reminder that people may place a price on others based on superficial qualities, but Allah's valuation is based on what lies in the heart. Yusuf's worth was never in the price he was sold for, nor in the titles he later received. His worth was in his taqwa, his consciousness of Allah, his purity, his integrity, and his unwavering submission to his Lord. Even when his brothers later came to Egypt, seeking food during the famine, Yusuf did not seek revenge. He had the power to punish them, but he chose forgiveness. His heart was free of hatred. He recognized that their actions, though painful, were part of Allah's greater plan. He told them, "Indeed, whoever fears Allah and is patient, then surely Allah does not allow the reward of the doers of good to be lost." This is the essence of his journey, and not just survival, but excellence in character. The story of Prophet Yusuf is not merely a tale from the past. It is a divine lesson, preserved in the Quran with unmatched detail, so that we may take guidance. It teaches that the trials of life do not diminish our value. Being wrong does not make one worthless. Facing hardship does not mean failure. In fact, those very challenges are often the means by which Allah elevates his servants. The key lies in how we respond with patience, with trust, and with the heart turned to him. Every believer, at some point, will stand in their own metaphorical market of Egypt, feeling weighed, judged, or devalued by others. In such moments, the story of Yusuf whispers to the heart, "You are not what people say you are. You are what you are in the sight of Allah." Your patience in adversity, your refusal to sin despite temptation, your hope in the face of despair, all of these make you precious. The world may not recognize your worth, but your Lord always does. So, whether you find yourself in a place of loss, betrayal, loneliness, or even rising success, the legacy of Yusuf teaches the same truth: remain sincere, remain patient, and trust your Lord. Just as he raised Yusuf, he can raise you too. For true worth is not defined by the labels given by others, nor by the conditions of your present moment. It is defined by your nearness to Allah, your sincerity in intention, and your steadfastness on the path of righteousness.